What's up, fam? I'm your host, Jack Settleman. Joining me today, as always, my co-host and longtime best friend, Abe Granoff. Today, we're not in the stew, but from coast to coast, we're covering both coasts. We're covering the entire country. We're literally the Josh Okogie of podcasts right now, full coverage. Abe, what's on your mind today?
That one went over my head. Just gonna straight up admit
I
it.
think he's a defensive guy. That's what I was going for.
There's like a lot more defensive guys in the NBA that you could have
Who would
picked.
you have gone to first that's relevant, like, at this moment in time?
Jaren Jackson Jr.
No, that's not like a shutdown.
I get what you were going for. I get what you were going for. What's on my mind, brother? We missed you out there on the diamond today. We missed you out there. Everyone knows Snapback Sports has a sponsored softball team in New York that we play on Sundays, and Jack didn't play today, and we had a doubleheader. You know, the pure talent outclassed us in the first match, went down, but hey, what I've learned about this team, Jack, and I know you've seen it firsthand, is that this team is resilient. This clubhouse is special, and that showed through in the second game today. We go up 6-0 in usual fashion. We blow said 6-0 lead. We go down 9-6 in the bottom of the sixth, or the top of the sixth, the last inning. We're the home team. And you know what? The boys string together a 4-run, 2-out rally to improve to 2-3 on the season. And I know what you're thinking. You're probably making fun of us for being 2-3. And if you came to 2 of our losses, you probably have a right to make fun of us, but you can't really make fun of us for the loss today. But what we will tell you is I am guaranteeing, Jack, there's a 0.00000% chance we miss the playoffs in this softball league. There it is. Make the clip.
I mean, are we giving the fam the context that you can essentially buy enough games to automatically qualify for the playoffs?
I'm pretty sure I just said there's a 0.00% chance that we don't make the playoffs. We still have to win those games in order to make the playoffs. I don't know. There's like 40 teams in this league. I don't know how many people make the playoffs. All I know is I'm seeing the ball well at the plate right now, real well this season. Almost tore my ACL today. That was fun. Got to invest in cleats this week for sure.
Yeah, stay safe out there. You don't want to end up like the rest.
But I will
of
say, Jack, we did miss you out there today.
I appreciate that. Just a note, I might be on the IL for TBD, maybe just a 10-day IL, which if we have a game off, pinched nerve in the neck. Yesterday when I was with you, like I started using the massager because I like felt something, and then the last 24 hours have been brutal. So I'll get Johnny Bryant. He worked on Julius's ankle to work out the kinks in my neck when our next game is, but just something to monitor for everyone if you're thinking about starting in your fantasy lineup. Yeah.
You've got a little something in your neck. It's fucking softball, dude.
I don't. I can't even look left right now.
You can play catcher and swing the bat.
Yeah, no, I could make it work.
We need your bat. You're a good bat. You're a good bat. You strategically hit, and sometimes you try and do a little too much in the field, and that's just your player comp.
Yeah, who would that? Am I Baez? Javi Baez?
I don't know, but that man needs to get the fuck out of Detroit.
All right, hopefully I'm not biased then.
I'm pretty much
I was gonna say, similar to my impending injury or injured reserve stint, the NBA playoffs have gotten underway. Let's celebrate with some snaps for the Knicks and the Sixers, going 1-0 in their first contest.
I was just going to say, key point of information there is just snaps. We took care of business yesterday. That's all we did. We did what we were supposed to do. We're not going to get too high. We're not going to get too low. We're on to game 2, both of us.
Yes. But others are now not just on to game 2. So on Sunday's slate so far, Ja Morant against the Lakers. The Lakers take game 1. They're up a few points when Ja Morant went up for a big dunk. Anthony Davis slid in, took a charge, but Ja lands on his hand. And Ja pretty much said, it's looking dubious for game 2. This is what we expect for Ja. What's up? What's wrong? Dubious? You're gonna that one I know. The literal synonym for dubious is doubtful.
Hesitant or doubtful. Continue. I was just checking. I didn't say anything.
No, I learned that word when I was in high school, and it's like that one I would actually bet my life on. So I appreciate
So
you
there's
fact
those
checking.
little words in high school that like stick to you because it's like not a regular word, but like when you
Yeah.
hear that word and you know how to use it properly, you're like, all right, I got that in my bag now.
No,
For me,
dubious is in my bet.
that's the word is motley. Like if I'm with
Oh,
a group of friends from like some people from different walks of life, like it's a motley crew that I'm with.
of course, of course.
So that's the
So
one word that
John,
I hang on to.
yeah, they actually maybe that's what the D on the injury report stands for. It's just dubious. Who knows if it's doubtful? That's just what people say. But John Morant is dubious for game number 2. They lose game 1 at home, and without Morant, as we saw last year, they're probably dead. Without Brandon Clark and Steven Adams and Morant, they're most certainly dead. The Lakers are a good basketball team since their little additions and changes. And the loss of Morant would be way, way, way too much to get over. Now, though, looking ahead, I don't know if we need to give the Lakers the series quite yet, but it's definitely looking that way. They're up to minus 300. To win the series, they would face the winner of Kings Warriors, which, like the beam, that was the best game of the playoffs from the first set of games.
Yeah, and in a day of the Sixers game, while it was close at times, the Sixers felt like you had control for 48
Yeah.
minutes. And the Knicks game as well. Like, I think even though it was a close game, when I was watching it, albeit a couple beers deep, the Knicks felt like it was their game to lose for the most part, and they
We
could
tried,
win if they
though.
wanted to. What's that?
We tried though. Like we made it
Oh no,
interesting.
as
It was
that's
way
as
more
usual.
interesting than Boston
For sure.
Atlanta.
And like I said, Boston was a snoozer. And to cap it off the nightcap, you have. I saw you tweeting about MSG get-in prices, brother.
Mhm.
That's nothing compared to what it costs to get into the Golden One Credit Union Arena, baby, where they light the beam. That
Yeah, I
atmosphere was electric. The offenses were electric. The defenses were non-existent. And Draymond Green still sucks.
well, that's the
Absolutely
funniest
sucks.
part is there actually was fairly good defense being played. Like Kevon Looney gave Sabonis real problems. Draymond, as much as you love to hate him, was fantastic last night. He had like 12 assists and 8 rebounds. Obviously, he doesn't score anymore. Andrew Wiggins on his return back. I didn't realize he ended up shooting like 1 for 7 from three, although he was much hotter in the first half. Clay, Steph, De'Aaron Fox, welcome to the show. We've got people online who are like, "Oh, but Warriors Lakers will set a ratings record." Like, I don't give a shit. I'm watching if it's the Kings and Lakers or if it's the Warriors and Lakers. So I
First
don't
off, the
work for
Kings are the most fun
CBS.
team to watch in the playoffs. They're electric. They shoot the lights out. They just chuck it, and they play
I
no
mean,
defense.
but Steph Curry he's the draw. Like obviously he's the draw. But you know what, Abe? Do you work for ABC? Do you get a cut of checks from the Atlantic broadcast combination? I just fully made that up. Like I made up dragons, but
It's
I don't give a
Disney.
damn.
It's Disney. Yeah, no, I
Well,
don't care
but
about
what's
ratings.
ABC stand
What does ABC stand for? What
for? It's got to be
does
American Broadcasting Channel would be my guess. The most
that
basic.
seems hot?
Yeah.
Oh, American Broadcasting Companies.
Ooh, okay, that makes more sense.
I mean, I don't know. No, that Kings game was absolutely electric, and just watching Steph in the playoffs, man. I don't think anybody at home on that last play of the game, even though he shot a 3-point layup, thought he was missing that shot. I had a
Yeah.
little 10 to win 100 on it to go into overtime, so I was hoping that shot fell, even though I was rooting for the Kings to win. But that, in my opinion, is going to be the series to watch this entire time. That series is
Okay.
going 6 or 7 games. I like the Warriors to come back and take care of business in game 2. I feel like the Kings were kind of riding the momentum and the hype around the first playoff game. And typically, I would say a team that was going to do that would overthink it. And the moment would be too big. But look, De'Aaron Fox, probably clutch player of the year, will definitely call for some funny memes once he's not clutch in an important game in this series. Was
He
able to
had 31 in the second
no,
half.
last night, absolutely. But that's the series to watch so far. And today the slate has been great as well. Lakers Grizz, even though the score does not indicate how close that game was. It felt like within the last minute, the Lakers got like 9 points and pushed it to a 16 or whatever it was. The Grizzlies are dead. The Grizzlies are dead with or without Ja Morant returning to this series, because as the doctor on this podcast, I'm just going to go ahead. Maybe we go to Twitter. Maybe we wait to Twitter to tomorrow to rule Ja out. But Ja will not play in game 2. I can guarantee you that. Even if he's going to come back, he's going to be hobbled. It's looking dubious for the Grizz. It is looking dubious for the Grizz. I'm going to be saying that word so much now. I might just say it where it's not applicable.
It's not just Ja's status for game 2 is dubious, but the Grizzlies' chances are very dubious looking forward as well.
Yeah, and I think, the sun came up today, and for a hot second, Anthony Davis was sent to the locker room in what I think we all thought was a dislocated shoulder. What do you think a shoulder stinger is? I know I'm the doctor and I should know that. I just like to give official prognoses and not just make up words. But what is a fucking stinger, man?
A stinger's when you
the guy is a walking stinger.
Yeah, no, he's walking glass, but he's a bucket and he's elite. It's crazy. Like Anthony Davis, if you gave him a full bill of health and told him like play aggressive, he might be one of the top 3 players in the NBA. Like legitimately.
Stop.
On some night, dude, he had 7 blocks and 3 steals today. Like he's insane on both sides of the floor. But he is made of glass. A stinger's a nerve. So it's like you get hit really hard in one spot and you just like it really fucking hurts.
It's like
but there's no
a dead leg.
Yeah, exactly. I think a dead leg might literally be a stinger, actually.
What is a stinger? A stinger, also called a burner, depending on who you ask, which we'll call it a burner now, is the nickname given to a common nerve injury of the neck and shoulder seen in contact. You are on one today, brother. You've got all the answers except for ABC, which you were close, but dubious stinger went 66% on the ABC acronym. You're on one today, brother. LA looks good on you, Jack Settleman.
All right, let's go through all the series right now, and let's bury or alive all the teams. So sure. The first series, are the Nets dead or alive?
Does alive mean they have a chance of winning the series?
Have a chance to advance.
I don't think you're going to call me biased on this one. They are dead. They're already doing the same thing the Raptors did last year, where they're like, we're fucked. So let's just try and say stuff in our post-game press conferences. Jacques Vaughn bitching about Joel Embiid calls yesterday is just...
He did travel like crazy on that one clip that I saw.
Whatever. So did Jaylen Brown in the first half of that game, or the first quarter of that game. It happens.
No, that was a clean move.
But that's what they're resorting to, is trying to get the refs to throw them one in the next game so that they can go back 1-1 and tell themselves they have a chance. But Joel Embiid was really good yesterday for the second half, but that wasn't MVP Joel Embiid yesterday. That was James Harden. James Harden was spectacular yesterday. I know we hit 21 threes. Chances are the market's going to correct itself, but I think Joel's going to get back to his scoring average and have 33 points. I'm going to go ahead and say the Nets are dead.
Yeah, no bias there. There were 2 series going in that I said just matchup wise, absolute disaster. Well, really just one. The Brooklyn Philly matchup isn't a disaster necessarily, but the Brooklyn Nets are not good, which is what I wanted people to understand. The majority of their wins, or a lot of their wins, came from when they had Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving on the team, and they were pretty much a 500 ball club, and that's how they rate out. So if you took the Sixers against the Bulls or the Raptors, people would have been like, oh, it's going to be a dominating series, and that's exactly what it's going to be. So I have no problem burying the Brooklyn Nets.
You know what the Nets make me think of is, I always wonder this, right? Look at Mikal Bridges and the situation that he was in Phoenix, where everyone around the league acknowledged that the guy's a really good player. But how many guys around that league are stuck in that situation where if they go and they get their own team in the right system, can be a 30-point per game scorer, can be a third-team All-NBA guy, can do what Mikal Bridges did? I guess the first thought in my head is Andrew Wiggins because of his role in Golden State, but he had that chance in Minnesota, and he couldn't be that guy. But it just makes you think, where are guys around the league buried that could be a guy on a bad team? And it's not like Mikal Bridges is doing what Aaron Gordon did in Orlando and just like a volume scorer and everything. Like Mikal Bridges is fucking good.
Yeah, he's a level above, but I think the last week of the NBA season showed how talented these guys are. I mean, Kenny Lofton played in one game, he scored 42. Theo Pinson had a triple double. A lot of this stuff can just be
That's a
minutes related,
great.
but is it value minutes, right? Like playoff PJ last night or yesterday during the day, he plays a lot of minutes. He's not going to compile too many stats, but the impact you can already see it. And
Big
if
time.
I'm a Sixers fan, that's what I'm most excited about from game one. The next series
If
is
you're a Sixers fan, all you want to do in this first round is leave every single game healthy.
yeah,
That's it.
which
That's what I need to
we
be
had
happy about.
we had a little flash before the eyes, but we're on to the next. Hawks Boston. This was the series that I said is just an absolute nightmare. This is why I told you that if you liked Boston, you should bet them before this series. Now they smoked the Hawks. Obviously, the Hawks came back a little. It's a great matchup for Boston. So all things kind of rolling in their favor. Does that make them unbeatable? Obviously not. But I think the next few games are going to be a gentle reminder that Boston can kill you in a multitude of different ways. They've got two stars, one superstar, depending on the day. And they've got depth, and they shoot the shit out of the ball, and they can play defense. And Derek is the guy one day, then it's Brogdon. Smart will be annoying. Horford will be annoying. Robert Williams is the lead at the rim. So they're just a loaded squad, and they play the right brand of basketball in 2023. And the Hawks stink. I'm glad people have been reminded. So I'm burying Atlanta. Are you giving them any life? Because I know you wanted to.
I can't bury them. I just really can't. I look at a team like Atlanta yesterday, who isn't a bad three-pointing shooting team whatsoever. Shot 5 of 30 or whatever it was from the three-point line. Again, what I'm probably doing, admittingly, is attempting to manifest the fact that I'd rather play it. I actually don't know if I would rather play Atlanta. They just scare the fuck out of me. Manifesting, not that I want to play Atlanta, but manifesting in my own mind that Boston isn't as good as advertised and that they can be had, so that I can use that as an argument in the next round as to why the Sixers are going to win. So for that reason, I'm probably not burying them, because I'm giving them a chance of maybe going back to Atlanta tied 1-1. And then all you got to do at home is try and get it back to Boston 2-2, essentially. That's a 3-game series for everything. I'm not as quick to bury the Hawks as I am the Nets, probably because of bias. I just think the Hawks are a better team than the Nets. But what I will say is that, that meme of the child drowning, whatever, and his hands above the thing. That's kind of the Hawks. They have a head above water, in my opinion, but they're sinking and can't swim. Whereas the Nets are at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, they're cooked. All right, next series. Knicks took a 1-0 series lead. So we'll take it from the Cavs' point of view, because that's how we're doing this. Are the Cavs dead or alive? Give me something spicy to work with.
The Cavs are alive, man, and I think it's a great time to take their series price, because the Cavs are winning this series against the Knicks. Jalen Brunson was spectacular. Jalen Brunson was everything that we expect him to be in championship basketball. The Cavs are winning this series.
Based on what? I'm not going to bury.
Based on the fact that I fucking hate you and I want the Knicks to lose.
That's fair.
And you think I'm crazy to say that the Cavs are going to tie this thing up 1-1? It's back to New York and it's not a series.
No, you're not crazy for that.
But I will say, at yesterday, only one series started yesterday. Only one series started.
Yes.
And that was the Knicks Cavs. They, you know what they say, series doesn't start until a road team takes one. So we're off to the races in Knicks Cavs. Go ahead and bury the Cavs, because I know you stuck with Knicks in 5 was your prediction, and I know go ahead, do it.
No. I'm not going to bury Cleveland, because if I don't think the Knicks are going to sweep them, then there's not then they don't deserve to be buried. Because if you can win one, then you can stay alive, right? Mm-hmm. But I think in a fun way, there's a multitude of ways to look at the game, and one of them is burying Cleveland and saying, all right, Jalen Brunson played 9 minutes in the first half. All right, Quentin Grimes, Emmanuel Quickley, and R.J. Barrett combined 3 for 18. All right, Donovan Mitchell had 38 points. All right, the Cavs used that home crowd where they're 30 35-7 on the season and made that run. Julius Randle was on a bad ankle. You can take all that and be like, and the Knicks still won the game. Now, you can easily flip the script and say Evan Mobley and Jared Allen were invisible. I don't think you can say the Knicks out-rebounded the Cavs by 17 because that's going to continue. It was funny that you made fun of me for learning about the Cavs, but every worry that Cleveland had was like front and center. Yeah, I mean, it was the rebounding, it was the bench depth, it's JB Bickerstaff, it's no one to guard Brunson because Okoro got played off the floor because he can't make a jump shot. So the warning signs are there. And I'm curious, after game 2, it's either going to be, of course, Cleveland could smoke the Knicks in game 2. Josh Hart hit a huge shot. Randall hit some tough shots. Like, this is just how playoff basketball goes. But if the Knicks do win game 2, there's going to be some confirmation bias by way of like, yeah, the Knicks are just such a good matchup for Cleveland with their depth and their rebounding. And the Knicks are good. But I'm not ready to go there yet. I'm not ready to go to the Knicks are good yet. But I think everyone who reacted to the game, like you, is basing off the Knicks are like, okay, they try hard. They actually might be good. I'm not there yet, but they might be good.
My thing is, I will go as far as to say in that for the Cleveland Cavaliers, game 2 is a must-win. And the reason I say that is while opponents do get up for the Garden as much as possible, like everyone drops their career high there, I don't see a world where Cleveland goes in and takes 2 from the Knicks in the Garden. It has nothing to do with basketball and all to do with what I remember that atmosphere being like 2 years ago against the Atlanta Hawks. And I know you're not a fan of it really, more so in the NFL, but I really do think the home atmosphere matters. And I think it was the difference maker in Sacramento last night. I think it'll be the difference maker in the Garden. And I think in certain Boston and Philly in round 2 is kind of evens out because I do think Boston has a good atmosphere as well. I'll give Philly the nod there. But if the Knicks go down 2-0, I don't see a way, any which way, they can go back to Cleveland for a game 5, anything better in their favor than 3-1.
Yeah. All right. So you're saying maybe we get out the shovels for our Wednesday record, potentially.
There will be no shovels in this series.
Until the Knicks are up 6-0 in the series, you will not.
Yes, until the Knicks are the Knicks can go 16-0 in this playoffs, and they will not sweep a team.
All right, last game of Saturday night was Warriors-Kings. Kings won. Amazing game, as we said. Dead or alive, the Golden State Warriors.
This is like the perfect spot for me to do my asshole shtick, right? And bury the Warriors because I'm in love with this Kings team and I hate Draymond Green. Like, I was a Warriors hater for so long through the LeBron days, but I'm ignorant for sure. But I'm also not ignorant to the fact that I am ignorant, right? And that is why, I mean, anyone burying the 4-time champion in the last 8 years, Golden State Warriors, with the exact same core, still healthy, with Steph Curry having probably his best season over this dynasty, and you saw it in full-fledged last night. You can't bury the Warriors. If the Warriors go back to... I would also say that this is a must-win for Sacramento. Like, if you really want to win this series, going back to Golden State up 2-0 is your best path, because once the Warriors become the Warriors and turn that switch on, a young playoff team like Sacramento, that's straight to the dome. They're in their heads. And that's something that I can see getting to Sacramento with a lack of experience, going into that atmosphere at Chase Center with already the inability to play defense. You need to go back to Golden State up 2-0 if you're Sacramento.
Yeah, I agree. There was one there was one guy on Twitter who famously said after the Knicks game, he was a Cleveland guy who said, it's a bad loss, it's not exciting, but we got the Knicks' best shot. Obviously, that's not true. He was kind of trolling to a degree. Who gave their best shot last night? I think that's how you got to think about the series, because the the Warriors actually gave like a pretty good shot. Steph played longer minutes than he normally does in the first game of the playoffs. Kerr always does like this feel out game one, but they're normally at home and they can normally spare it. And they're normally a little better. Now they don't have home court advantage. They've been bad on the road. So the Warriors gave it a pretty good go. On the other side, so did the Kings. But then you could make the argument, well, Sabonis was bad and Trey Lyles was fantastic and Monk was fantastic, but Fox was fantastic, but Barnes wasn't that good. And it's just like, I don't know who gave their best shot last night. Game 2 is big. Like you said, game 2 is massive.
The thing with last night is if you go and you look at the box score, the game was a 3-point game. It came down to one team made one more shot. Turnovers 15-13. You usually look to that as a difference maker in a game. Rebounders 41-50. Not that big of a difference. Where the Warriors won, or where the Kings had the advantage, is on the offensive glass. So maybe you point to that. They outrated on the offensive glass by 8 rebounds and only won by 3 points. They shoot kind of similar from 3 points.
Shot a lot of free throws.
Yeah, it was a punch for punch. They shot a similar amount of free throws. Sacramento 32 to Golden State's 27. It was a punch for punch game, and the Warriors and the Kings made one more shot, and that's how I view it. And the Warriors are still the Warriors. And I mean, look at the series price right now. You still can get the Kings at plus 130, not favorites. Yeah. But the Kings smell blood in the water is the term that I'll use, and it's just about taking care of business in game 2.
I'll give you
because
my last
if they go up
piece.
2-0, they could easily come back to Sacramento tied 2-2.
Yeah, my last piece is the Warriors can turn on that defense. Like, they can find that defensive lineup. Last night, they couldn't. They literally could not stop the Kings at all. I don't know if the Kings have that in their game, but I'll give Mike Brown credit because at halftime, they were getting killed, and it was a high-scoring game, and most coaches might be like, slow the tempo. We got to slow them down.
Third quarter Warriors, right?
Yeah. And his direct words, which they talked about on the broadcast, was like, yo, we got to speed up. We got to play faster. So historically in the playoffs, when things get into the half court, and that's what's going to kill the Knicks, obviously, is we're not good in the half court. Cleveland's elite in the half court. Is if Sacramento can just fucking create this variance, of course, like you said, it's just punch for punch. And if Wiggins' shot goes in, the Warriors win the game. Fox's shots were going in, the Kings win the game.
Steph rimmed out a game-tying 3 to send it to overtime. That's what this series was, and that's why the game was so fantastic. And that's why if you're a Warriors fan, like, you shouldn't necessarily be worried. Not that Warriors fans are probably never worried.
They'll panic, but all right, let's see. I want to check the score because game 2 on Sunday. We're recording this around dinner time. So Giannis is out for the game. The Bucks have made a little bit of a push in the third quarter. They're down 9 points headed into the fourth quarter. Jimmy Butler's got 29. Bam Adebayo has actually 12 points in the third quarter, I guess because Tyler Hero's out. Kevin Love is balling. Caleb Martin's balling.
Everyone but fucking Max Strus.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. All right. Let's assume Miami wins. Let's give you, you're the doctor, so you can make the call. But are the Bucks dead or alive?
No. The Bucks aren't dead. The reason I say that is Giannis lower back contusion ruled out for this game. The way I view Giannis at this point in his career, I actually said it to you yesterday on the couch. You said to me, the playoffs are chalky as usual, but there's always one wrinkle thrown into the fold. There's always a turned ankle. There's always a Ja Morant. There's always an Anthony Davis. And there's always a Giannis. The way I view Giannis, and I said to you, I was like, Giannis could be that guy to turn an ankle. However, Giannis is that type to turn an ankle, play the next game, and drop 40. So with Giannis, what I'll say is lower back contusion, back injuries aren't something that you fuck with. I think you and I know that from a firsthand experience. Giannis, to me, has that Jamar Chase injury prognosis to him where it's just like questionable because he's him. Like, he could play. And even if he's playing with a lower back contusion, I'm not going to, as much as I would love to slander Giannis in the Bucks, I can't just sit here and say, if Giannis is out on the court, Giannis is going to be honest. That's what I'll say. Yeah. Like, I don't have the Jaylen Brown in me where I was like, well, his hand.
I don't know if he deserves to be in the category, but I'd put him in the category with LeBron James, the Golden State Warriors, and him as bet against them at your own. Like, don't ask me to bet against them. You might be right, which is fine, and maybe you win that bet, you win that prediction. But I'm good just like rolling with Giannis and rolling with
it's Giannis, it's LeBron, it's the Warriors at home, it's Pat Mahomes, it's Alabama plus money. That's like, or bet against Alabama. That's what it is. It's like those are the like. You're damned if you do. You're damned if you don't.
Yeah. So not dead for the Bucks, but let's say Giannis is out. Even if they won the series, which I think you think they could. Let's say he's out for the playoffs, right? Like let's say it's like some back injury. That's a real thing.
Oh no! Don't say that.
You'd consider them dead, I assume.
No Giannis, they can't win a championship.
Yeah.
No Giannis, they can beat the Heat in this series. No Giannis, they can beat the Knicks in the next series. No Giannis, they can't beat us or Boston.
Okay. Series 3 on Sunday is Suns-Clippers. The only reason why we can continue playing this game is because Paul George was officially ruled out for the series. So without PG, are the Clippers dead or alive?
I didn't pick them to win this series in the first place. I'm not going to pick them to win now. I kind of assumed Paul George wasn't going to play. I don't see it, man. I don't see it. I'm a fan of star power in the playoffs, especially. You're seeing it with Jimmy right now. You need those role guys to step up, but I think they only need one of their shitty role guys to step up with how much firepower they have at the top. And you have Kevin Durant who can score at will, Devin Booker who can score at will, and a guy with a genuine severe addiction to playing in the finals in Chris Paul. Like the finals was heroin to Chris Paul. It's the type of thing where if you do it once, you can get hooked. He developed a severe addiction to it.
Let's be honest. If the Sixers go to the finals, I'm sure you'd be at the same meetings.
Oh yeah, no, I'd be at the FA meetings for sure. Yeah, it's like you give a crack addict a spoon once, he's hooked for life. You give Chris Paul a finals appearance once, he's hooked for life.
Yeah.
But I think he'll have some withdrawal symptoms.
I'm gonna do this. I'm not gonna bury the Clippers yet. They go down 2-0, and I don't see anything I like. Although Ty Lue's gone down 2-0 5 straight series, which is nuts.
Can anything happen in Game 1 tonight? Suns 30-point blowout, Durant 30, Kawhi gives his best effort. You got the Clippers role players even playing well, supporting cast. It was just a battle of the superstars that took over. Can anything happen tonight that would bury the Clippers for you? I know 2-0 you would. Can 1-0 in any type of fashion bury the Clippers for you?
Well, that's
outside
the funny
of injury.
2-0 wouldn't actually bury the Clippers, depending on results, right? But is there anything that could happen tonight? One, Kawhi, twist an ankle. No Kawhi, they're absolutely dead. No, I'll give it 2 games. I'll give it 2 full games before I bury them, because Russ is so erratic that in the first game, he could shoot 2 for 98 tonight and then come back 18 of 18 next game. But I'll give it 2 full games before I fully bury them. But yeah, the grave has been dug, but I'm just not putting the dirt back on top quite yet. The last series is.
Yeah, well, we didn't even preview this series because we didn't know that this series was taking place prior to our NBA playoff preview pod. But the Grizz get it done in dramatic fashion to destroy OKC. And they're facing the Nuggets. And Jack, financially, emotionally, I'm with you in locked arms, brother. I know you have action on both sides
I'm off the T-Wolves.
You have some action on both sides, but for this specific series, if there's one major upset around, because I don't think we're looking at chalk all around whatsoever, this is where I see it. And I know what you're thinking, Abe. This is an anti-Jokic thing. He's a fat Serbian. This could be all that. Those are all facts, for sure. He is fat. He is Serbian. Check. But there's basketball to this. Anthony Edwards in the 2 playing games was kind of trash. I see that correcting. I see him being a more efficient scorer. And I haven't watched enough Jokic to confirm this take. I'm just using it with what I know with Embiid. Historically with Embiid, outside of pretty much this year, maybe last year, the things that he struggled with the most as a big man in the playoffs was those thick boys with size down low. even though his first step would leave Marc Gasol in the dust on the Raptors, when you get in the low post, in order to get to the basket, the size is what hurts Embiid. And I think the size of Cat and Towns and Cat and Gobert is going to give Jokic fits. How much fits will it give him is a whole different story, but that's the angle. I said half of this is I hate Jokic. He's a fat Serbian Slav.
I'm going to remind you of something.
Sure.
Do you remember the little squabble that Jokic and Gobert had maybe last year, maybe it was 2 years ago?
I don't know. Did his brother have to come to his defense because he can't defend himself?
It was a moment where Gobert blocked his shot and said something to Jokic, and Jokic reminded he had scored 47 on him during the course of that game.
That's fine. That's one tower. That's not twin towers. I'm just saying.
Not two.
One, if it's just Cat, if it's just Gobert, I'm with you. But there's two of them. And they're both, that's the style they play, and that's what I'm going to go with, along with Anthony Edwards figuring it out.
My bet is that Denver is going to remind people that they've been the best team in the West. That could change. And if I'm a Minnesota fan, I'm a little bummed because if I had Naz Reid and if I had McDaniels, the last game, albeit against the Thunder, who are not actually a good team, although people want them to think about them as a good team, is you saw the vision. You saw the Gobert to Cat lob or Cat to Gobert lob. You saw Ant Edwards playing with the two bigs. You saw them go into a zone and just Oklahoma City, they had to put 8 shooters on the floor, and then it just led to easy and one buckets after buckets. I mean, Cat and Gobert combined for like 30 points in the second half. So you saw the vision. The Nuggets are a good team. The Nuggets are a really good team.
They are, and you said the Nuggets have been the best team all year. They were the best team. They are not. They are no longer the best team. In the second half of the year, they were not the best team. Look out for the size giving Jokic fits.
The subconscious bias on Boston.
Right, you think it's very similar to the Boston-Atlanta angle I'm going with. For sure. I'm willing to admit that.
No, but at least I can give you I'm not burying Minnesota, because I do think, what I felt about Minnesota was if it played out, I just don't love this matchup for them with the Nuggets. But we'll see. We will see.
You don't like the matchup, and I love the matchup. But half of it is... I want that little fat bitch to go home early.
Cap of the week. Actually. My cap of the week is I'm good in the West. Put your hand up, babe. Are you good in the West?
It's a parade inside my city. Yeah.
Now, it's unfair to taunt Ja now that he's injured, because we don't want to do that. But
that's a Dylan Brooks taunt.
Okay. Yeah, the Grizz aren't fine. No Steven Adams, no Brandon Clark. Their depth. They needed everything they had, and they just don't have it. So Tyus Jones will have a 10-assist game at some point in the 4-game series, but the Grizz, they went from the league's hottest team last year, trending up, young stars, to the most hated and potentially swept team in the league.
The best part about it is, cap of the week now is that Ja saying I'm fine in the West, that was a cap the second he said it.
Oh, yeah.
They were never fine in the West. My cap of the week, and I shouldn't do this because vibes are high. We're up 1-0, blew them out yesterday, won by 20, whatever we did. Cap of the week goes to Doc Rivers. Dude, have some fucking self-awareness, you asshole. Pre-game one, obviously the reporters are asking, what are the expectations for this playoffs? He's like, we're not looking for just a one-series win. We're looking to win the finals. We're not looking to just get to the second round. Out of the second round, we're looking to win the finals. Fine. But then he's asked about, do you think there should be a change? He wasn't saying to your job title, but in general, if the Sixers are not able to get out of the second round for the 100th straight time. And he went on this long rant about he used Kevin Durant's foot on the line as an example as to why you don't blow it up. He's such a fucking asshole, and he's so mean to these reporters, and he doesn't understand. All we want to do is improve. That is what you were brought here to do, and I know there have been unfortunate circumstances in the injury, but you blew Kevin Durant's foot on the line against the Bucks has nothing to do with blowing two 20-point leads against the Atlanta Hawks. This guy holds on to one championship like it's for dear life. It happened during the Obama administration, maybe even George Bush. I don't know. That was when the iPhone Nano was out, and that was the hottest thing. That was when we weren't even streaming on our phones yet. Just have some fucking awareness, saying in the past 3 years since I've been here, we have fallen short of expectations one time. All I can control is what I have my team ready to do on the court. Everything else has nothing to do with it. We're trying to win a championship. Don't try and fucking save your job that you know you're going to blow.
$6 million a year.
Doc Rivers, $6 million a year?
I would not be setting myself up.
It doesn't come out of the salary cap, but
I would not be setting myself up to get fired if I was making $6 million a year. I'd say the shit that it's fine. It's all good. You know what? If we fall short of expectations, bring me back, and maybe next year will be different. It won't, but bring me back because I get paid $6 million. So I agree with you. It's cap, and hopefully Daryl Morey would fire Doc Rivers if they don't advance. But
did you just say hopefully? You want him to get fired?
I think for your sake, because
thank you.
This is the first time that I think you've hated someone that so meaningfully impacted your own team, or at least
it's like I hate James Franklin, but I care about the Sixers way more than I care about Penn State football. But the reason that you should want him fired is because if he doesn't get fired, I might commit a crime against him.
So that's kind of what
this podcast would be done.
All right, the internet graphic of the week. I believe that's a Fox graphic. That's just me being on social media and shit. But there is no logo. Actually, no. It might be NBC. That's an NBC guy.
That looks a little Sunday Night Football-y to me. It's the font. It's the font of the names.
It is. So NBC put out a graphic. Start bench cut. Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence. You go ahead. I'm actually curious what you think.
This is tough. This is tough for me. Refactoring in, I guess contracts don't really matter, right? Let's just assume we're doing this for 1 year.
Let's just do 1 year next year, like where they're all at.
Well, Lamar Jackson's unemployed because he hasn't signed his tender, so he's God knows where in the world. Yeah. Justin Herbert, looking to trade Eckler. All right, I'm going to re-angle this, right? I'm not going to do start, bench, cut. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rank 1 through 3 who I would want the most on my team next year for one season.
Okay.
Number 3. And Eagleson, even though he's not here today, when he edits this back, is going to be happy to listen. Justin Herbert's really good. He's got to do something for me. He's got to do something that can show he's carrying. Exactly. Jay Herbert, can you do something for me? Can you hold a 27-point lead for me? I don't know, man. And it's like you have all this talent in the world. Eckler, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen. I understand you are the Chargers, and trust me, that is a valid argument if you're Justin Herbert as to why nothing good has happened. But that's starting to expire for me. I'm going to put Justin Herbert 3 on this list. What team is Lamar on?
In Baltimore.
Then I'm going to go Trevor Lawrence too, Jack. Because, I'm going to angle this. I'm not going to talk about Trevor Lawrence. I'm going to talk about Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson has no one to throw to. Lamar Jackson doesn't have the weapons. Lamar Jackson this. How many wide receiver rooms in the NFL have 2 Super Bowls to their name, Jack? Not many, I'm sure. Chiefs don't count. You got Nelson Aguilar. You got Odell Beckham Jr. in Baltimore.
I was trying to figure out.
That is a veteran championship experience groomed wide receiver room, and for that reason, I'm riding with Lamar at number 1, and Trevor Lawrence at 2, even with Calvin Parlay Ridley coming back.
Yeah, the only reason I just want people to understand this. What you've seen from Lamar Jackson, the Ravens, the last 3 seasons, there'll be pieces, obviously. They'll run the shit out of the ball, and that's Lamar's best attribute is him running. It's undeniable. But that offense is going to look entirely different under this hypothetical that Lamar Jackson is playing for the Ravens. Todd Monken is a high-flying, passing-first coordinator. And I just think the guy with the hair, they call him Nuke, it would be the least Ravens things ever, and I don't even know if they can make it work. I really don't.
So you're kind of taking the Ravens.
But that would be, I think it would be a top 3. I don't know if it would be the best because them boys in Cincy are like that. But it would be top 3 offensive skill.
Weapon room.
Yeah.
A weapon room.
Yeah.
Is that interesting? You said it wouldn't go as planned. Are you kind of taking the angle with the Ravens that I've done with the Sixers like over the years?
What do you mean,
like
go as planned?
Like you said, it probably wouldn't go well or something if they got.
No. I didn't say that. No. I was saying.
So never mind, because I thought you were saying like even if good things happen to my team, they'll find a way to fuck it up.
Oh no. If you give Lamar Jackson, Dobbins in the backfield with Gus, a good O-line, which we have, Mark Andrews, top 3 tight end in the league, Odell Beckham Jr., Rashad Bateman, DeAndre Hopkins, Nelson Aguilar.
Thank you.
I mean, yeah, the excuses are obviously gone at that point, but I think you have the right coordinator to make that work. Once again, I really don't think that they can make the money work for it, but like DeAndre, you made so much money. Take the discount. You'd be a legend.
You got 6 weeks of no paychecks for taking roids.
That's true. So
he's a broke boy.
Even without him, who am I taking? I'm gonna go just because of the questions of Lamar right now. I'm gonna go Lawrence 1 because I think the stability of Trevor Lawrence with Doug, you add Calvin Ridley to the mix, you add in that division is terrible. And the fact that I've put a gold jacket on this guy literally half a decade ago at this point.
This is just your brand versus your brand right here.
I'll go Lamar at 2, and then I think we're all in the boat of like, yeah, we see it. Herbert's fantastic. But like even Josh Allen is starting to lose spots on this board, but he's gone places. But he's gone. Herbert he can't get it done. This year could change it all, but we know it probably won't. And he's going to have it's a new system again this year.
Yeah, Eagleson, I know that segment probably tickled your loins more than anything, us talking negative about Justin Herbert. But as you're writing this, just keep in mind that your quarterback is a fucking bobblehead. Hawaiian bobblehead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and if you're thinking where does Tua fit into this mix, he's not.
He carries the bags for the guy that got cut.
Exactly. Yeah, he packs him up and moves him to his next apartment. So we will acknowledge the Monday mailbag question from Puncher. If the Ravens bring back Lamar, how far will they go? How far can they go? How far can they go with healthy Lamar Jackson? They can go to the Super Bowl. I mean, they can.
I think anyone with like a top 5 quarterback, like anytime you can say. Yeah. How far can my team go if my quarterback's healthy? The ceiling.
Yeah, I really
think your quarterback is in any given year can be the best quarterback in the league if they're top 5. I believe that with Jalen Hurts. The Chiefs believe that with Mahomes. Bills believe that with Allen, Cincy, and Burrow, and the Ravens and Lamar. And I think those are the guys that if you're healthy,
you could say like the Jags and the Chargers, who have top 5 quarterbacks, week in, week out, depending on the week. They might not have as good of a chance to go because they're not as complete of a football club. But like, I really don't see a ton of differences from the Ravens and Eagles. The Eagles did a much better job playing to their strengths and added A.J. Brown. And that pass rush was special. But like, yeah, if you build the right system for Lamar, him and Hurts, to me at least, are very comparable.
Hurts, Lamar, Burrow, Allen, Mahomes. If you're healthy, if your quarterback's healthy and your team is healthy, every year from here on out should be a Super Bowl or bust year. Whereas if you are the Chargers, if you are the the Jaguars, if you are some of
Yeah,
those other
stack like a playoff win, and then go from
or
there.
two, and you can make a run, right? But like the expectations don't need to be we have to go win the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah,
The Eagles' expectations should be that. The Ravens should be that. The Bengals should be that. The Bills should be that. The Chiefs should be that.
yeah, and the Niners, I guess, but they don't know who their quarterback is.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of the answer to the question. They can go to the Super Bowl. How far will they go? It's impossible to say. They're a playoff team with Lamar. He's proven that. That's the one thing he's proven. He'll get you there. When you get there, if he's healthy and you finally give him the right play caller and some lucky bounces of that oblong ball, who knows? But I don't even know if Lamar Jackson is going to be there, so I don't need to speculate for now. But that wraps up this episode of the pod. I'm a little chill because job's not finished. Like I'm not too excited about.
You're not stitching Jalen Brunson with MJ Game 6 over the Jazz game winner. And
It wasn't Brunson. It was Josh Hart's three.
Whoever it was.
Nah, you got to be excited. It's the first road win in 2 decades in the playoffs. It's exciting stuff. It's exciting. I mean, you laugh at us. It's the first win in the playoffs in 2 decades for the Kings, but it's exciting stuff. Orange and blue skies. I might be willing to let Schmuck A back in the fold just for the vibes. He's been positive, good vibes so far. Schmuck A Smith.
I thought that was a nickname for RJ.
Stephen A. Smith.
Oh, Schmuck. Oh, okay. Stephen A. Cup. Got it.
Yeah, Cuck and A. Smith. But not yet. Not yet. I'm playing it by ear, but it's all good vibes ahead of game 2. One last quick thing. We are doing a Julius Randle special for game 3. Use code SNAPBACK on Underdog Fantasy. New users. Will he score over half a point, Abe? Yes or no?
I'm going to go yes.
Okay.
Hesitantly.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna ride that as well. But until Thursday, we'll talk to you then. Much love. Peace.